Hi everybody, I'm Mitchell Reichut. I am CEO of June Group, and I am here today with Dadi Akhavan, serial entrepreneur, international man of intrigue, e-commerce expert, mobile expert. We're here to talk about mobile and content and how everything's changing. How you doing, Dadi?
Great. Good to see you, Mitchell.
So we've both been in the industry for a long time. We've seen a lot of change, but I don't know if you agree with this statement. The past 24 months have been unlike anything that has ever come before it, primarily because of mobile. Dramatic change in how people are consuming content, how people are spending their time online. Give us your take about how mobile devices have changed content consumption generally.
Well, I sort of look at it as two things coming together. One is mobile and also video. I think when we have these sort of flexible devices and not just mobile, but you have these multiple screens. We live in this. The way I look at it is not necessarily a mobile-centric world, but a screen-centric world.
So we know in the advertising industry that video is the lifeblood of digital advertising. How is video being distributed on the mobile devices, and how are people consuming it?
The way that I always like to look at it is kind of like looking at sort of the newer, younger generation. And I have younger kids, and their consumption patterns are just completely different, and it comes so naturally to them. And I think that's a great example to look at sort of how people are viewing it.
How somebody consumes the content is one part of the equation. The other part is who that person is and how the brand or the advertiser finds them. Capabilities are completely different all of a sudden. Cookies, which we have relied on since the early days, no longer relevant. Now we have other things to rely on. Talk to us about how advertisers are finding the right people on mobile devices or across screens.
I think that's the fundamental challenge, and that's why you have platforms, like some of the social media platforms, Facebook and so on, and of course, others that have a sort of a clear or supposedly clear understanding of like who my customer is. Mm-hmm. But I think we really need to move beyond that, because I think there's a lot of challenges with kind of some of the social media type focus right now. Sure, there's you may be able to find your target audience based on used to be demographics, but now really some more interest and motivations and psychographics and behavior. But that's the fundamental challenge. Just because you cookie someone, is that the right audience for you? Is that the right time? Is that the right message? So I think it's really a combination of those factors.
Mm-hmm. Most clients are spending most of their money on radio and television and print and things that they're more familiar with. How do you see that role changing, and do you see a rapid switch anytime soon?
The challenge is sort of this disconnect between actual usage and how do you budget for it. Mm-hmm. I think there's an old joke in the brand advertising world that says, how does a brand manager plan their marketing budget? And the joke is that they take last year's budget and change the date. And it's not because they're lazy or they don't know what to do, but it's this idea of like you don't necessarily want to rock the boat. So I think it will happen gradually, and there's certainly pioneers out there and innovators out there, who are doing really interesting things, and others see that and want to keep up and hopefully surpass as well. So I don't think we can expect to just press a button and all of a sudden we get that migration, but the trend is clearly there.
So last question, all this new stuff happening, all these dynamics, all these different players, what's emerging that we haven't seen yet, or what's the thing that most excites you that's coming next?
The sales of large screens are increasing. The average size is now 47 inches. It's a little bit feels like sort of the early days of mobile, when we have different players and different platforms kind of, and now with what's going on with Apple TV and Google Chromecast, and you sort of see similar players that have played a big role in mobile now putting a lot of attention and focus on OTT and streaming and those kind of services.
Dadi, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks for having me, and great to chat.
All right. Thank you.